Urban Dictionary says the movie Idiocracy was originally a comedy but has become a documentary. Let's see how much of this is true. Hello hooligans, welcome to RCA Reacts. My name is Robert. I thought Beavis and Butthead was actually Reality Adams, and I am here today to talk about Idiocracy. This was an idea I had over on our channel, Cinefanatics. If you're not following us over there, me and my brother talk about movies and stuff. Go subscribe over to that channel. Link is down below in the description. Idiocracy is a movie created by director Mike Judge, who also created Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, and Office Space. It was filmed right here in Austin, Texas in 2004 and was released in 2006. Today I want to go over some of the cases that this movie may have gotten the future correct when talking about what could happen to society, to people, to the world around us. This is gonna get kind of interesting. For example, notice that everyone in this movie is wearing Crocs. And it's funny because Mike Judge was talking about this on an episode of Joe Rogan Experience.
Said we could really save a lot of money, just put everyone in these things. And then I said, well, what if by the time the movie comes out, what if these become popular and people are wearing them? She said, oh, these are never going to become popular. No one would ever wear these things. They're horrible.
And that's just funny and kind of ironic the way that ended up turning out. Now, before we get started,
please keep an open mind.
I am not a political person. I don't have an opinion based on any political leanings whatsoever. I researched this as best as I could, so please do me a huge favor and keep the comments civil down below in the comments section. If you don't agree with something, that's fine, and that's your right, but you don't necessarily have to be a dick about it. You don't even have to share the comment to begin with. But if you are capable of being civil with myself and with others down the comment, I'll be eternally grateful. Thank you. Also, keep in mind, some of these topics may be cynical in nature. That's just what the movie is presenting, and I'm just going to talk about and expand upon some of these ideas, and yes, it may devolve into a cynical viewpoint. If you don't like cynicism or that kind of an opinion, this might not be the video for you, and I will catch you in the next one. Still here? Cool, let's begin.
Natural selection. The process by which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest. A process which had once favored the noblest traits of man now began to favor different traits. Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent. But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction. A dumbing down, and mankind became stupider at a frightening rate.
Is it Fuddruckers? So I tried Googling to find out if IQs actually are dropping over time, and I did find a bunch of websites that seem to confirm that they are dropping year after year. The problem is none of these websites really seem to be credible or an authority on the subject, so I started looking for actual scientific or academic research. And you know, those were the things we were told to find for our reports before everyone just started using Wikipedia. I did come across James Flynn, who was an intelligence researcher. In short, and I'm extremely paraphrasing here, he found that IQs are actually increasing. And this is because as we continue to develop new technology, there are new ways to access this knowledge. We have greater access to this public knowledge. For example, look at the movie Seven, which came out in 1995. Detective Somerset is going to a library to research the 7 deadly sins. Back in 1995, we had the internet, but we had yet to develop it into the amazing fountain of knowledge that we now have access to. If you wanted to research anything on a computer back in 1995, you had to get an Encarta disk. Let's move on to another point this movie makes about the dumbing down of society, though.
How did this happen? Evolution does not necessarily reward intelligence.
So this is true from a certain point. This movie came out in 2006. 1 year later, we would have iPhones and Twitter. The one thing this movie doesn't point out is our addiction to looking at screens, but there will be more about that here in a little bit. Because of social media, we have an avenue to expose like people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions on certain subject matters. And these people with different backgrounds and experiences will have an unfiltered way to let us know, whether we like it or not, their opinions on these subjects. I mean, look at all the stupid opinions and hot takes on Twitter. It really can be mind-numbing to read some of these, but look at what happens. They get the clicks, they get the interaction, they get the views. You try posting something positive and happy on Twitter and people will like it, but you post something stupid or racist on Twitter and that tweet is going to
blow up.
Granted, people are probably yelling at you and calling you all kinds of like stupid, moron, racist, whatever, but you're getting those views, you're getting those clicks. It's driving attention to your profile. Again, evolution does not reward intelligence.
There's no way we could have a child now. Not with the market the way it is, no.
No, that just wouldn't make any sense.
Come on over here, bitch! He don't care about you!
Yeah, well, there must be something he likes over here.
You mean nothing to me, baby? It wasn't me! It wasn't me!
So this will never not be funny or untrue. Let's go back to talking about James Flynn. He did say that the average IQ seemed to be increasing, but that
There are individual groups that may be decreasing.
this movie is comparing stereotypes, and yes, stereotypes do exist for a reason. But there are oftentimes more to it than what is presented. Like in this movie, we are shown an upper middle class couple that is waiting for the market or waiting for the right time in their personal lives and their work habits to align to when it's okay to have a kid, compared to a very stereotypical redneck trailer park family that just can't seem to keep it in their pants. Flynn was stating that these groups with different backgrounds and different experiences will have different ways in which they do reproduce. So a lot of this is not necessarily a sign of a person's intelligence, but more of a sign of like their upbringing, the experiences they went through, their way of life, and then also their freedom to change those experiences the way they were brought up. If you were brought up in a family of racists, you have the ability to say like, no, that's stupid, I don't want to do that, and no longer be a racist prick.
Next on the Violence Channel, an all-new Alma Lost.
Wow. So this is where we come back to our addiction to screens. Notice how Frito is sitting there watching this show and doesn't give a good gosh darn about Joe's pod crashing into his apartment. He's just glued to that screen watching mindless, mind-numbing, whatever programming. If you look at it, Out My Balls is kind of a descendant from the type of movies and TV shows we have nowadays, like Jackass or Wipeout. And I'm not saying that those shows are bad. They are kind of enjoyable, but I mean, that seems like a logical progression to go. Now let's take a break from this video to let me tell you about today's sponsor. There isn't one. I don't have 1,000 subscribers at the time I'm filming this video. There's nobody sponsoring this video. But there are ads everywhere, just like in this scene. YouTube, websites, clothing. Look how many ads are on Frito's screen in this scene. It's covered. Like the actual thing he's watching is a small part of what's on his TV. I mentioned clothing, but they are essentially walking advertisements. Now, granted, yes, they have a lot of advertisements on their clothing in this movie, and I haven't seen that much advertisement on clothing unless you're a NASCAR driver or Johnny Storm back in the mid-2000s Fantastic Four movies.
Excuse me. I think this might be Gatorade or something. I was just looking for some regular water.
Water?
Yeah,
You mean like in the toilet? What for?
just to drink.
So you're the idiot. While people are entitled to their opinions, we seem to be in a place where people may trust their own opinions over experts and therefore laugh at a person when they actually know what they're talking about. Before 2020, we trusted doctors. Kind of.
Is this because of the same kid as before?
And relied on them to help us be our mental and physical best. But something happened where people stopped listening to experts. We became more concerned with conspiracy theories than we were listening to people who spent their time and their money on an education to earn that title of being an expert on that subject matter. And if you're gonna discredit these experts just because you heard something from someone that isn't really based on any reliable, credible information, then who do you trust? This goes back to what I was talking about with social media. You could be 100% correct on exactly what you're talking about with your credentials listed in your bio, but yet you'll always get some person telling you you're wrong because they've watched a YouTube video or read Wikipedia or heard something on the news, all of which is way more credible than your education level or your expertise in the years that you've had talking about this particular subject, or more reliable than an accredited college education. Granted, there's flaws in the college system too, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it is a lot more reliable than just watching a YouTube video of someone trying to convince you of something and treating that as gospel, or telling you what you should or shouldn't believe. Yes, I understand the irony of this video.
Would you like another?
Extra big-ass fries.
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having trouble.
So in 1955, McDonald's opened with only one size of fries, and that was 2.4 ounces of French fries, which is 0.2 ounces less than the current size of their small fries. They also only had a 1/10 size burger patty, which you still can get today. It's what the size of the patty is typically on a McDouble or a Big Mac. The quarter-pound size wasn't actually introduced until 1971, with the double quarter-pounder coming sometime thereafter, I believe around like 1973. Plus, there's also all the fast food restaurants constantly advertising to supersize your meal, so it's probably not that far off before we actually reached the size of
Dwayne Elizondo Camacho, 5-time Ultimate SmackDown Champion, porn superstar, and President of the United States.
It's a hell of a resume right there. Alright, so this is one of the biggest ones that I think people will constantly refer to this movie as like kind of forecasting the future, and obviously they're going to connect it to Donald Trump. President Camacho is introduced as a 5-time WWE SmackDown champion and a porn superstar. And yes, we did have a president who was a reality show star and had something to do with porn. Completely besides the point. It is kind of unfair to connect this directly to Donald Trump, and we've had celebrities hold positions of office before. Back in the 80s, we had President Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? The actor?
We've had Predator stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura both be governors. Ventura was also a professional wrestler and also hosted a reality show, that being Conspiracy Theories with Jesse Ventura. Ha! Now we've come full circle on the conspiracy theories. How convenient. Point is, celebrities are not necessarily bad politicians, as this movie seems to show us. Although people would call into question the intelligence of some of these celebrities, but that is a discussion for some other YouTube video to have. This video was also cut entirely on a computer. So that's gonna do it for my comparisons. What did you think of these? I know there's a couple of more in this movie that are very lightly connected to what we see nowadays. Obviously, there's a part that a lot of people talk about in regards to a clip from Fox News. Some of these I'm like skipping over for right now, and I might revisit this later on, especially as time continues to progress. We'll see if anything else that was predicted in this movie comes true. Who knows? That will be a future video, especially if this one does well. I may revisit this topic. What did you think of it, and what other things from this movie do you think are actually something that may have come true or may come true in the future? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, make sure you come follow me. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and TikTok at RCA Reacts. Like I said at the beginning, I do movie content with my brother over on Cinefanatics. Come check us out over there. Make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. Let me know the comments down below. Also, while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe to this channel. Doing a lot of fun things here. Next week, we're gonna take a small break. Let's do some ranking again. So, anyways, thank you for watching this video. Very much appreciate each and every one of your views and thoughts and opinions. Please come back for the next video. I will see you then. Laters.